People see.
Your people are recruiting.
Say more.
A lot of production is the answer.
Fiery.
Oh,
I said,
that's awesome. Are you thinking?
I.
For me. It's all about Tim. You know, I'm a huge, I'm on the B&O front lines. Yeah, water reuse task force. I'm going on 55.
Working day after December 31st.
You're a good human. Hey, you.
But
Of course, if I need to.
I had big plots.
Contest.
One of the people in HR.
Oh, you mean like they just throw my cards in and fold it? Well, maybe the bank has.
Becky, there's gonna be one of your meeting challenges now.
What's that?
Work your meeting skills. To politely, people to stop.
I have asked him to time and he will let the buzzer read it.
You're doing all three.
It's gonna be part.
Congratulations. I'll pray for you.
Oh, I just love her. Well, you would be awesome.
Very look forward. My record is 10:30 tonight, so I'll put this down.
Let's not break on
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
Bruce, you with them?
I'll let you in this one. Are you company your applying license? That's Thank you.
Hi, they're messing with your seat. Aaron, I spelled your name AAARON, so you are now triple A.
Extra, A+.
It's been that day.
It's usually misspelled A or O-N, you never met someone that spells it that way. So I'm always curious, like, where are these around?
My stepson's name is Aaron.
See, I got
When
it.
I try to spell it, I
Send it.
stop myself.
No, too much.
Just not my handwriting. I don't have this, but I have this.
You know that. I live with them. Doesn't. And then.
Yeah.
Get your side.
What?
You didn't get your side. did you?
No, I didn't. Everybody knows who I am.
Everybody does.
I'm not that concerned.
That's gonna happen.
It's the square feet, not the other. And he didn't understand. So I was surprised at the little voice.
So how has your month been?
Good.
It's been really busy.
You'll be wonderful.
Is that good?
Yes.
Is he selling?
You'll be
Yes.
great.
I did 4 under contract posts this weekend.
Boy, that's a paperwork nightmare.
There's ours. It's coming. It's not gonna sprinkle that.
It's he said. She said it's number of people.
It says it's clear in the.
Teresa,
Yes.
Faith's on Zoom. She's Faith has a phone. Faith has a phone. We're supposed to Friday, she canceled them. It's well, not, but it's
Right.
Yes, no, I'm glad.
That way you didn't get sick.
Again,
Long time no talk.
Yeah, I
probably.
I, I
We have a lot of
can't
people.
give my opinion too much, but I was like. Oh, I thought I heard, I'm sorry, don't, you're good. Nope, sorry about that. Oh. Teresa, did we hear from Chris, Tracy, or? This is not. I'm sorry. Or Neela? But we have forms, so.
And say she's gonna get online.
She's on.
I was gonna say, I can't imagine I want to miss this.
Yeah.
I'm not intimidated.
Evening.
Hi.
Very good. Yeah. It's
Time, right? Did you hear? I noticed we had done somebody.
Everybody does it by now.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. We are gonna go ahead and get started. My name is Becky Tuttle, and it is my privilege and honor to serve on Wichita City Council representing District 2. Thank you for joining us here this evening. This is the District 2 Advisory Board meeting on Monday, August 11th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We're gonna go ahead and get the meeting started. We do have one of our District Advisory Board members who is joining us virtually. We also do have a quorum this evening. So we're gonna get started by introducing ourselves as the District Advisory Board. And so I'll start with Faith because she's virtual. And if you can please tell us your name, which neighborhood you represent, and your favorite thing about Wichita, and you can't repeat what somebody else says. So Faith,
Perfect.
we're giving you the luxury to go first.
Perfect. Nobody can repeat what I have to say. That's okay. Mine is probably not going to be like anyone else's. Hello, my name is Faith Martin. I represent the East Ridge Neighborhood Association. And currently my favorite thing is our very robust budget process that allows the people that live in Wichita's opportunity to give council feedback. So I have been just very pleased with all of the chances that council is giving to hear from everyone. So don't forget, there's one more time left to give public comment about the budget.
Thank you, Faith, and thanks for being there and making comments last week. Appreciate your time. We had 8 public speakers last week about the budget. We had our evening meeting, so. All right, your lucky day, John. We'll let you go next.
Okay, Tom Baker, Pine Meadows, favorite thing today, I was downtown and I love to see all the development going on. Jim Groff here.
There you go. Can't hear you.
Jim Groff. Excuse me there. I'll get rid of this guy here. There we go. Jim Groff at the Equestrian Mistake, take your way. Room 127th. Harry. My favorite thing is, you have to tell, is all the fine food restaurants in the city of Wichita.
Very good.
Good evening. My name is Tim Johnson. I represent the Willow Bend neighborhood at 37th Street and North Rock Road. And my favorite thing about Wichita today is you all being present and participating
Good point.
in this civics process.
Fantastic. I love that. Thank you. Miss Stephanie.
My name is Stephanie McCurdy. I represent the Hawthorne subdivision, and my favorite thing about Wichita right now is our airport because it's easy to get in and out. And all of the other airports I've been in this summer are awful. They're just awful.
And I do want to put in a plug for our glass jetways. We were the
Yeah.
first city in the nation to have those, and now other cities across the nation are emulating us. So if you haven't paid attention the next time you fly in or out, make sure you look and see the glass jetways.
Not Chicago.
Not Chicago. Yes, Bruce.
My name is Bruce Gass. I represent the Chisholm Creek HOA, which is way at the north end of Becky's district. And my favorite thing about Wichita is all the good, clean, well-kept parks that we have in town.
Nice.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Miller. I represent the Bonnie Bray Homeowners Association. As of today, one of my favorite things about the city is the fresh new pavement on Douglas right outside my neighborhood.
Hey, you're welcome. And last but not least.
My name is Tom Lynn, represent Woodland States. My favorite thing was gonna be the airport treaty, you already said that. I'm gonna go with the update that we've seen on some of our perks.
Oh, very good. Excellent. Thank you. All right. So next we're going to do the approval of the agenda for August 11th, 2025. Teresa, as always, thank you for doing such a great job getting us prepared for
ma'am.
the meeting. And Teresa, I forgot to have you introduce yourself. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad.
I'm Teresa Beasy. I'm the Community Services Representative for District 2, and my favorite thing about Wichita is that school starts on Thursday. Which means my freshman daughter needs to go back to school.
All right. So hopefully you've had a chance to review the agenda for August 11th, 2025. I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The item passes unanimously. Next, we have approval of the minutes from July 14th, 2025. Again, thank you, Teresa, for preparing them. Hopefully, everybody has had a chance to review them. Are there any corrections to the minutes from the July 14th meeting? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Tim. Bruce, second. All those in favor, please say aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, gotcha, Faith. Anyone opposed? Does anyone have to abstain because they weren't here? Tom? Anyone else? Okay. All right, so next we have a public agenda. Is there anyone here this evening who is here for an item that isn't on the agenda? Yes, ma'am. So if you could please come and state your name and your address for the public record, and you'll have 3 minutes. Awesome. Teresa, do you want to use this microphone? So my bad. I'm so sorry. I put you in the wrong place. My bad.
My name is Sean Preston.
Is it on?
Is it on?
It doesn't seem like it's on.
Actually doesn't work.
You'll just speak loudly.
I'll just try to be a little loud. My name is Shaw Perez, 12121 East Boxthorn Lane. I'm sorry, Court, Wichita, Kansas, 67226. I just came to give an update. Thank you so much for getting everything taken care of during the flood. I was here last meeting, but my house did not experience any flooding, only my yard, but unfortunately, 2 of my neighbors did. I have worked with the inspector out at New Spring Church, and he has taken the time to drive me around and show me what the issue was, and he's sending me a video, how they've resolved that with the new drainage ditch and getting everything connected, so far so good. We're still hoping for trees, some landscaping along the road in the parking lot, and some fencing. But we have to call and see how that's worked out. Since we didn't reach kind of an agreement on that so far. The other thing is I talked with Chad Childs, and I got some information from Faith Martin also about doing the educational piece for HOA members. Now I'm working with Quinn. And they're gonna host our candidate forum for our HOA, which is the Fairmont HOA at 127th and 21st Street on the 18th, Monday, the 18th.
Yeah, it is.
So we're very excited about that, but we hope to still partner with the city of Wichita to kind of get a piece together with our education board members.
Okay.
Just wanted to educate.
And thank you for coming. It's not very often people take their time to come and tell us like the follow-up and the good news. We had several neighborhoods in District 2, more than any other district, that had significant flooding issues. And it was really, it just, broke my heart to go and see what people were experiencing. We tried to put them in contact with our person at MABCD, who is our flood. He's over flooding in Wichita flood control, and then also with Public Works. And if there's anything that the city could do, most of the time it wasn't our responsibility, but we would then help people find, whoever they needed to get in touch with. We had 100-year rain when the water was already saturated. And so hopefully we will not experience anything like that again. And then thank you for working on the candidate forum. I've talked to Trish, and I may try and stop by. So yeah, thank you. Thank you. You're always welcome. Come anytime. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on an item that isn't on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we do not have any off agenda items this evening. We do have an update, and Teresa and I had planned on Mike Armour from Public Works joining us this evening to give the update. But he said it was okay to announce they had baby number 6 today. So he's a busy guy. So he could not join us, and we completely understand why. Yeah, I know. Where's his priorities? So he wanted to just let us know that the Douglas from Rock to Webb, you've probably already noticed or will be noticing, there's been some, Aaron, you mentioned there's some pavement markings. We have been working significantly with the independent school, especially with going back to school. Teresa is going to share, it's kind of a couple slides, if you will, couple PDFs. If you want to share them with your HOAs, your neighborhood associations, whenever we know that a major road and arterial is going to be disrupted, we just want to make sure that the community is aware so you can plan ahead, and kind of bad timing with school going back with independence. So look from an email with Teresa. Teresa, are you gonna send it individually or are you gonna just put it in the minutes? Okay, put it in the minutes. And then if you need any help getting it sent out to your HOAs or your neighborhood associations, just let us know. Any questions? I say all the time, orange cones and cranes make me happy, so we're gonna be happy on Douglas. All right. Yeah, we're working on downtown too. So next, staff reports, we have Officer Malloy and Officer Beeler, and they're gonna join us from Wichita Police Department. And we said we'd be nice to them. So please introduce yourself and your favorite thing about Wichita. You knew it was coming.
I'm Officer Alex Wheeler. I guess right now my favorite thing is I get to police the community that I live in and grew up in.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Cool.
Thank
That's
you.
exciting.
That's hard to top.
Officer Malloy, Wichita Police, I'm Central East, I'll go with my fire department. So
Oh, pandering, I love it, I love it. Pandering amongst our heroes. All right.
Yeah, so I'm assigned to the Central East Community Policing Team. Officer Beeler's on rotation with us. We're trying to teach them what we do. And this is part of what we do, so we're here tonight. Few updates, nothing major going on. We just completed our 120 days of the RTM. Hopefully you guys were briefed about that. It's the risk terrain modeling, so it was really a data-driven approach to addressing crime. We chose to focus on violent gun crime, and that happened to be within the Hilltop area. And the preliminary analysis of that 120 days has shown a 30% reduction in violent gun crimes in the most violent crime area for Patrol East. So I think that's phenomenal. We're having our analysts reanalyze like a short term. WSU's actually going to perform some long term analysis of that and give us some really good feedback. But in the short term, we're trying to find a different area and incorporate a few different things that we learned from this initial stage and apply that into another high violent gun crime area. So we're excited about that. Let's see, we got a new recruit class with 40 recruits in it that just started. Yeah, I feel like it was within the last couple of weeks, so that's really exciting. We have recruits that just graduated or this year. Yep, we got recruits right now that are on field. So there'll be more recruits hitting the street as well currently. They've decided with those 2 recruit classes going, they're gonna open up the CP community policing process to allow more community policing officers to be out in the street. Because we used to have 10, now we're down to 5, but in actuality, Patrol East is running with 3. So hopefully we're gonna get at least 2 more. I think the long-term goal when staffing's back up is to fill it back up to 10, but I don't know that directly or when it can happen. Yeah, and then they're also gonna work on filling the community response teams, which is kind of like our action teams that work nights and weekends, so that'll be good. They can address violent crime, drugs, and other community crime trends that occur at once and weekends, so that'll be great too.
Before, I'm gonna beat face to the punch. Teresa, can we work to make sure we get the data for the district for district? Okay, thank you. I got you, Faith.
Thank
Any
you.
questions? Any questions?
I just want to say thank you for coming. I think community policing may be one of the most important things that you do. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Pleasure, thank you.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yes.
And I went to the promotion ceremony Friday. That was wonderful. Great to see all the new promoted Wichita Police Department members. So glad. Okay, thank you so much for what you do. Be safe. And you did great for your first try. All right, next we have Acting Battalion Chief Robertson to tell us about fire. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you for having
And
me.
what's your favorite thing about Wichita?
The people, of course.
There you go.
My name's Colby Robertson.
And you did provide us a written report, so thank you very much, and it'll be in the minutes for anybody else who wants to thoroughly enjoy it, who doesn't have a copy with them.
Colby Robertson, 28-year member of the Wichita Fire Department. Last four is acting battalion chief in Battalion 3, which is where you find folks live, southeastern Wichita. I don't have much either tonight, just a few statistics. They got preliminary data in for fireworks for 2025. And it shows 0 structure fires related to fireworks. 1,188 calls about fireworks, that's the non-emergent line. 19 issued citations. And that is in comparison to, they gave me the 2023 and 2024 statistics. 2023, there were 11 structure fires, 2024, 1. Down to 0 this year. Calls have remained about the same, just a little over 1,000 for each year. And citations is down from 34 in 2024 to 19 this year. There were 3 fires in District 2 since your last meeting. There was an accidental fire. That was fireworks going off in the living room, 700 block of South Hunter. There was an aggravated arson in District 2, 6,600 block of East Perry. That was firework related, but no structure damage. And 7,200 block of East Perry, there was an accidental burn issue. That's they're working. They're having ongoing meetings on the new city fire station, Southwest Wichita, which would be Station 23, and that's getting close to. That's all I have.
And we'll get a new fire station in District 2, 18. Because of the
Yes.
relocation of
Yeah.
K-96.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
K-96 expansion now is being delayed and it's gonna be done in 3 phases. They were hoping, KDOT was hoping to start it all 26, maybe 27. Now it's gonna be delayed significantly and our area, that area of 96 and Webb won't be until 28, 29, I think. But they're still gonna go ahead and do the station as expected because we did not put money in our capital improvement program for repairs needed for the foundation. So I know Chief Snow, Gary Jansen, our public works director, and KDOT have been working closely. So we'll get that new station and KDOT will gift it to us. So,
Absolutely.
yep,
Be great.
yep, awesome. Any questions for fire?
I was wondering if the fires in it's on your report, it would be aggravated arson, accidental. Are those locations, are those all like the same person? Or the same type of where it's somebody breaking into steal, or do you know?
I'm not privy to that.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
And it's an ongoing investigation,
Yeah.
so yeah, we have to remain confidential. Good question, Faith. Okay,
Thank
thank you so much for all you do. Be safe, have a great evening. Next time you come back, we'll probably be starting to talk about fireplaces and Christmas lights, right?
That's right.
It won't be long. No report this evening from Park and Rec Department, even though I know it's a couple of your favorites, sorry. We're gonna go to John with the Public Library report. You do have a written report in your packet. But for those of us, those who may not have it, John, can't wait to hear everything going on at the library.
Yes, good evening, everybody. My name is John Clary, and I'm the manager at the Rockwell Branch Library. And Rockwell serves East Wichita. And I'd like to, favorite thing about Wichita, I want to do a plug for one of our electronic databases on the library webpage. It's called Canopy, and it's a free streaming service. You can view thousands of films for free. It includes documentaries, foreign films, a lot more, and they also have a special Canopy for kids. So go to Wichita Public Library website and check out our Canopy service, free streaming. And I'm going to, go ahead.
John, real quick, so just a quick question of my district advisory board members, raise your hand if you have a library card. Yay, if you don't, they have the coolest new Wichita library cards, Wichita Flag library cards. In September is National Library Card Sign Up Month. and I'm gonna be working with the library to do some initiatives. Literacy is very important to me. We talk about it a lot here. But just make sure that if you don't have a library card, you get it, and encourage everyone to do so, to use our facilities. So John, all you.
Yes, please get your library cards. We have 4 library card designs, and your library card is free. So you can go into any location, just bring something that shows your current address, like your driver's license or an ID, and we'll get you a free library card. You'll have access to all of our library services. So we look forward to seeing everybody. So here's what's happening in August at the Wichita Public Library. This year's summer reading program came to an end last month. We had numerous Wichitans that participated in the summer reading challenges. We had dancing along to free children's concerts and attending educational and creative events across the library locations all summer long. So it kept our kiddos busy this summer. The official numbers are still being tallied, but preliminary numbers are indicating an increase in participants to the summer reading program that completed their summer reading goals. And the goals were, you could make up your own goals this year. So we'll probably do it again next year. Read 5 minutes a day, read 1 book a month. Totally up to you, and it's available for kids, teens, and adults. As of July 30th, over 800 pre-readers, so that's going to be kindergartners age, were signed up. 1,400 kids, 650 teens, and 350 adults finished the reading challenges. We expect a lot more once we get the final tallies. The grand prize drawings for finishers will take place later in August. So this year, our summer reading program theme was Color Our World, and the public brought that to life at the library with art-based activities, colorful discussions, and tapping into the endless imagination we all discover with a good book. So happy summer reading, Wichita. The hours at the Maya Angelou Branch Library, located at 3051 East 21st Street, are set to change soon. Beginning August 18th, which is a week from today, Monday, the new hours will be Tuesday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., Wednesday and Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and will be closed on Sunday and Monday. So we had enhanced the hours over the summer with Rockwell staff while that branch was being remodeled. And so those hours will be changing next Monday, August 18th, as Rockwell staff return to that branch to get it all set up for reopening. After completing the remodeling project in March, the Angelou branch reopened to the public with temporary expanded hours to best serve the residents in Northeast Wichita. And as the Rockwell Branch Library was closed for business to complete its final phase of remodeling, the library staff from Rockwell helped make the expanded hours at Angelou possible. And they will be returning to their branch as we prepare to reopen soon. More details on an anticipated reopening date for the Rockwell Branch Library will be shared in the coming weeks, and we appreciate your patience and flexibility and understanding as we bring you a brand new library. The Alford Branch Library, located in South Wichita at 3447 South Meridian, will host a grand reopening celebration this month after their remodeling project concluded in June. The Wichita Public Library is eager to invite community members to commemorate the occasion on Saturday, August 23rd, with a ribbon cutting ceremony, crafting activities for all ages, and a musical performance from the local artist, Hand Pan Dan. The festivities will begin at 9:45 a.m. with an opening remarks by District 4 Council Member Dalton Glasscock and the Director of Libraries, Jamie Nix. So please come to see us on Saturday, August 23rd for the grand reopening at Alford Branch Library. With back to school season in full swing, your Wichita Public Library wants to remind parents that they can opt in their middle school and high school age teens to a free library student e-card during the USD 259 enrollment process. So you can visit wichitalibrary.org/student card, e-card, to learn more about the power of the student e-card and see if your family is already enrolled, and how to access library services 24/7 online through ClassLink. So that's what's going on at the library this month. And thank you for all your support, and I'll take any questions if you have any.
Any questions for John? John, you did such a good job. I don't see any questions.
Thank you very much, Becky, and have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
All right, now we're gonna go to the new business section of the agenda. We're gonna start with our dear friend Christina. Christina is gonna be with us for a bit with the next three cases. And we're gonna start with CUP 2025-00022. Christina, it's all you. And maybe speak probably a little bit louder than normal.
Okay.
Use your outside voice.
Sounds good. How does this sound?
Perfect.
All right. My name is Christina Reed, and I'm with the planning department. And my favorite thing about Wichita, I know this is pretty controversial, but I'm gonna say the traffic, because I was in Dallas a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
And I really enjoy Wichita traffic.
amen. I believe it too. Yep.
Okay, so the applicant for this case is requesting an amendment to a community unit plan. And this is in order to develop a warehouse self-storage facility. This is a little bit under 2.5 acres in size. It's general office district, and it's located 1 block east of North Woodlawn and 1/4 mile north of East 21st Street North. It was interesting because this is right on the border of District 2, because the other side of Woodlawn is District 1.
Yep.
So what they are requesting is, warehouse self-service storage, so you think they're self-storage units. And then usually there is something called supplementary use regulations, and basically, if you wish to have self-storage, you have to abide by the regulations which are listed up on the report there. But they are requesting a waiver of number 17, because normally we require an on-site resident manager at all times. And so they're requesting to waiver that. And then within the development standards, they want to alter the maximum building coverage, floor area ratio, and maximum gross floor area. And then there's also a concept called compatibility height standards. So those would be a maximum height of 40 feet. So currently, this is parcel 3B within the community unit plan, which is essentially commercial development that's greater than 6 acres in size. But this parcel 3B, it currently allows dental offices, medical offices, laboratories. And so let's say that this wasn't within a community unit plan, it was a standalone parcel that was zoned commercially. They would usually have a conditional use application, and it's pretty much the same process as what we're doing now, because we still have to notify the public, there's still public hearings, et cetera, et cetera. So, there's also supplementary use regulation number 2 that says it has to be contiguous to an arterial street and have direct access to an arterial street. It does not have, it's proposed to not have access to North Woodlawn. And so staff is also recommending a waiver of supplementary use regulation number 2. So, then additionally, the applicant is requesting to alter the development standards to increase maximum building coverage, floor area ratio, and maximum gross floor area to accommodate the proposed self-storage facility. So the maximum building coverage would increase from 30% to 50%. And then the floor area ratio would increase from 40% to 110%. And the maximum gross floor area would increase from 42,000 square feet to 115,000 square feet. So we are also recommending a waiver of supplementary use regulation number 18, because that one states that no more than 45% of the lot area shall be covered by buildings. And then according to the parcel descriptions in the community unit plan, it's regulated in accordance with the unified zoning code for the underlying zoning district. So compatibility height standards, essentially what that means is if you have a multifamily or commercial development and you're next to a single family development or a duplex development. And we ask you to lower the maximum height just to ensure the harmonious development of the community and to ensure some compatibility between buildings. So the applicant proposes to construct a multi-story climate controlled storage building. And this would be accessed from East Rock Hill, which is a local street. In terms of parking, they require 1 parking space per employee, plus 1 per 8,000 square feet of floor area and warehouse self-storage. And then there's the remaining provisions within the community unit plan. One is that all utilities shall be installed underground. There's a minimum building setbacks indicated on the community unit plan. They have to follow the signage provisions within the general office zoning district. And they also have to follow section 4A of the zoning code for parking provisions. So the character of the area is commercial, office space development and public uses. To the north, it's still within the community unit plan, it's developed retail space. To the east, is also a development office space within the CP. To the south, it's zoned single family. If you look at the zoning map here, everything you see in white is zoned single family. So to the, just across Rock Hill, you see the church there. And then to the west, they have within the CUP, it's developed as a laundromat. See, so we do an analysis of whether or not the proposed development is in conformance with some of the plans and policies that have been adopted by City Council. This is a community investments plan. Within the community investments plan, we see the future growth concept map, which is on your report here, and it identifies the site as appropriate for residential and employment mix. And then in regards to the places for people plan, it's a place that provides for the movement of people on foot, on bike, and through transit and down to automobiles. So within the places for people plan, there's strategies to help guide the community in their actions to create walkable places within Wichita. And one of them is to encourage infill and redevelopment that is contextual to the environment in which it is occurring. So the proposed multi-storage facility for parcel 3B, is contextual to the area. So based upon the information available at the time the report was prepared, staff is recommending that the amendment and the waivers of the supplementary use regulations are approved, subject to the conditions listed in your staff report. So if you're new to planning cases, we have a list of 8 golden rules that we apply to every zoning case. And so this recommendation is based on the golden rules, which are listed in your staff report. I did receive 1 phone call this afternoon, just a discussion on whether it's appropriate for this area and whether there will be concerns from some of the neighbors there. So the site photos are listed in your staff report here. And with that, I will stand for any questions. And the applicant is also here to answer any questions that I may not be able to answer. Thank you.
Any questions from the district advisory board for Christina?
Yes.
Can you explain why the church is doing this?
I cannot, but I'm sure the applicant will be able to do this.
Okay.
Answer the question for you. Sorry.
This went through MAPCD.
I'm sorry.
This already went through MAPCD.
I'm not aware of any permits that have been issued for.
No, I think you meant MAPD.
Yes, I'm sorry, Jesus.
Did it go to MAPC? Did it go to MAPC?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's going this Thursday.
Yeah.
So we are the first one to make a determination.
Yeah, and I will be there Thursday, so yeah, I'll get to hear it there. Any other questions for Christina? Seeing none, I see the applicant, as soon as, the owner's rep, sorry. So if you would like, to answer the first question that, Bruce asked, and then we'll let you have a few minutes and say anything you'd like to say.
Okay, Phil Meyer with Baughman Company, agent for the applicant. And if you saw on screen earlier, one of the visitors that's on the screen tonight was Buddy Morgan. That would be the contract purchaser on this property. Buddy was traveling today and wasn't able to attend the meeting, but he is watching tonight. I think I can answer the questions for him. So the church is doing this because they are the landowner. And that, there's two churches. This is the church on the west side of Woodlawn. They own the ground. They have a contract on it, but for a zoning application, the owner always has to sign the application. So the church is the applicant.
So it's not necessarily a nonprofit endeavor.
It is not a nonprofit endeavor at all.
And I'm just gonna gently remind the district advisory board members that when we're asking questions or we're thinking about this, we're always framing it as, is this the most appropriate use of the land? Right? So lots of other details that are important probably, but for this body, this advisory board, it's just, is this an appropriate use of the land? And we have the golden rules right here, as Christina mentioned, in case anybody needs them. So, great. Do you want to maybe take like 3 minutes and tell us a little bit about this? Is that enough time?
I'll try to do it quicker.
Okay,
You saw a
awesome.
minute ago on the site plan there, this is going to be a single building. This is a self-storage facility, but it's housed inside of one single structure. We're proposing 2-story, it could go 3. We originally asked for 50% building coverage. Staff wants us to be at 45 and we're okay with that. So you're welcome to approve this tonight based on staff recommendations. With that, I would point out to you how long that empty lot has been there and there has not been development on it. This is an appropriate use at this location.
And thank you to Mr. Buddy, I can't remember his last name, for being with us virtually. Appreciate it while you're traveling. Thank you for being here as the agent. Does anybody have any questions for Phil? All right, is there anyone here? Thank you, Phil, appreciate it. Is there anyone here from the community who would like to speak on this topic? Okay, seeing none, I'm gonna bring it back to the district advisory board. And Faith, as always, if you have anything, we've got you. We know you're virtual, just yell. Anybody have any comments, any more questions that they can answer, Christina can answer? With that, I would entertain a motion.
I would move approval of this request based on the staff's recommendation and on staff's findings for the golden rules numbers 1, 2, 5, 6, 7.
Second.
Second that.
Second that. Any further discussion? I will just state for the record, and I'm sorry, I forgot, I have had no ex parte communication with the applicant or the agent on this topic, and no one from the community as of right now has reached out to me, but I will be at the MAPC meeting on Thursday. All right, we'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Does anyone need to abstain? The motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Christina, PUD 2025-0016.
So the applicant for this case is requesting a zone change from limited industrial. It also has a protective overlay on this property, which I'll explain in a bit here. They're requesting a zone change to planned unit development to create the Proctor Family Indoor Athletic PUD. It's 1.72 acres in size and 1 block west of North Greenwich and 1 block south, 29th Street North. So the subject site is comprised of 2 separate tax parcels, and they would be developed as one unified parcel, one within the. The south parcel is currently developed with an indoor athletic training facility and associated parking, and then the north parcel is currently undeveloped. The current use on the south tax parcel and the proposed use for the north tax parcel are defined in the Unified Zoning Code as recreation and entertainment. They were requesting a zone change to limit the capacity of indoor recreation and entertainment and reduce the amount of required parking, and I'll go into this later in the report. So the definition of recreation and entertainment is listed in your staff report. And then they would also like to remove these parcels from the protective overlay. So generally speaking, there's some zoning classifications within the city of Wichita where there's a protective overlay over it. And it restricts the uses that are associated. So even though something is zoned general commercial, for example, we could have a protective overlay that restricts it only to a certain use such as vehicle and equipment sales, whatever. So the proposed PUD would not permit any additional uses than what's currently allowed in the zoning district. But they are proposing the following height and setback standards, which are also the same under the protective overlay. So a height limit of 55 feet, front setback of 25 feet, and then side setbacks 0 or 5 feet, and then rear setback is 1. The general provisions in the PUD, namely number 2, proposes a capacity limit 45 persons for all buildings used for private recreation, entertainment, and enjoyment. It states that if the use changes, a new certificate of occupancy would have to be issued. The capacity of the building is determined jointly by building and fire codes. It was indicated that the intended purpose of using the PUD to limit the capacity is to avoid the requirement for installing a sprinkler system. So we contacted MABCD, Metropolitan Area Building Construction Department, and confirmed that the building would be required to install a sprinkler system based on the square footage of the building. We don't support using zoning to limit the capacity in order to circumvent installing a fire suppression system. Based on the following provisions that are listed in your staff report. Parking can be addressed separately from building occupancy, and the zoning occupancy is not necessary to reduce a parking requirement, nor is it necessary for this. Section 4A of the zoning code requires the applicant for recreation and entertainment to conduct a parking study to determine the appropriate number of parking spaces. The site currently has 56 associated with the existing building, which is a fitness center, and the PUD proposes a minimum of 60 spaces. So we are doing that adequate. Screening and landscaping, they are proposing it to be per the applicable code, so that's section 4B of the Unified Zoning Code and then the Wichita Landscape Code. And then in one of the general provisions within the PUD, they're restricting signage to those permitted in the industrial park district. And it also prohibits off-site billboard portable signs. A little bit of case history on the site. The zone change from single family to limited industrial with the protective overlay was approved in 2000. And then it was also platted as part of the Regency Park Edition. And then in 2022, there was an amendment to the protective overlay that's on there now. To permit off-site signs that advertise businesses within the Regency Park Edition. The requested zone change is in conformance with the Community Investment Plan Wichita Future Growth Concept Map. It identifies the area to be appropriate for mostly new residential and employment mixes. The land use compatibility guidelines within the community investment plans, they recommend supporting expansion of existing uses to adjacent areas. So this would permit the development of an indoor recreational facility on the undeveloped portion of the subject site. Planning staff is recommending approval of the application to be in accordance with the approved PUD language. And you'll notice that, on pages, page 6 is a protective overlay text. Page 7 is how staff is recommending that we change the planned unit development. So one of the conditions is that it's in accordance with the approved PUD language. So you're at leisure to approve per the applicant recommended text or the staff recommended text there, or you can say per staff conditions. And then there's just some standard that they have to register with PUD and they have to submit final copies of what I have. So this recommendation is based on the golden rules, which are listed in your staff report. And we have not received any public comment on the issue from the opportunities. And we see the site photos here. And with that, I will stand for questions and the applicant is present to answer any questions as well.
Thank you. Fantastic job. Before we get to questions, I just want to state for the record that I have had ex parte communication with the applicant.
Okay.
I have not had ex parte communication with the agent. I have not had any community members reach out to me about this case, and I will be at MAPC on Thursday. With that, District Advisory Board members, what questions do you have for Christina to start with?
Can you talk a little bit about the parking again? Because you said they had like 50 something spots and they have to have 60. Can that,
Go ahead.
is that something, and I may have missed it, but is that something that we can waive for this? Because there's scats of parking in that area.
Yeah, so the if you want, do you want to waive the minimum of 60 spaces entirely, or what are you, what is your goal?
Yeah, well, it says it has to have a minimum of 60, but if it's gonna impact, and maybe this is not a question for you, but is it possible to waive that if the developer thinks that's appropriate? Cause we go there all the time and you literally, there's so much parking around there. So I don't want to see it like impact anything. I don't know.
So when it comes time to make a motion, you are welcome to modify general provision number 3. Because it says a minimum parking requirement shall be 60 spaces. You're welcome to add your own number, or you can eliminate that clause entirely.
Christina, may I ask a question?
Yes,
So if we don't add anything to it, it could be 60 or less, right?
so it's the minimum parking requirement.
Is
So the
60.
development will be
Gotcha,
required to
yes,
have a minimum.
thank you.
And they're
I was doing
already
it
at,
backwards.
they're already at how many?
56.
So they're 4 short.
No, right now they are requesting. I'm sorry, yes, they are requesting more parking than what is currently on site.
Okay, that's what,
I got confused too. Thank you.
I was thinking the other term.
Good question, Faith. Any other questions for Christina? Tim?
But be sure I heard correctly. They are asking for more parking than they already have.
4 more spaces, correct?
Thank you.
Good questions? Any other questions for Christina? Great job, Christina. Stay close, okay? Next, if the applicant or the agent would like to have a couple minutes and impart your wisdom to us. Back. Welcome back, Phil.
Back, Phil Meyer with Boston Company, agent for the applicant. Here with me tonight is the applicant, Luke Proctor, who'd be glad to answer any questions you have. Also here with me tonight are the architect, Stan Sheldon and Rick Brown from Sheldon Architecture, that will be glad to answer any questions you guys have. I know everybody in the room wants me to be quick. I can try to be quick, but we do need to have a couple minutes to kind of explain what we're doing here. So we would like, and are gonna ask you to approve this tonight with the occupancy requirement that we recommended of 45 people. And with that, you'll notice in the PUD, there is no reference to fire code or building code or whether this needs to be sprinkled or not, okay? That's our problem to figure out, but we are asking to limit the occupancy in this building to 45 or something less than 50. And I'll explain to you why as we go through this process. So if you if you take this building and consider, so this building is 16,800 square feet, okay? This building is going to be a practice facility for softball. Mainly ladies softball, but it can be any softball and it could have Little League baseball at some point. The reason we're doing this is a softball training facility. When we do that, they will be only allowed to have 1 team in this facility at a time. And the majority of the time, you won't have the whole team there. You'll have a portion of the team doing batting practice or other practices. But we won't be near 45, 50 people in this building at a time. And we know that going into this facility. And this facility is going to be a wide open facility inside because it's a practice facility for batting. If you look at, so when you go to MABCD and you get into the fire code, they look at the use of the building. And if this is an assembly building, then anything over 12,000 square feet has to be sprinkled. If they consider it as a training facility, just like Go Time that's on the same, within the same PUD, there isn't a limit on the size of the building. It goes to occupancy. So we are restricting our own use and promising your planning department, MABCD, the fire department, you can't go above this occupancy without a public hearing to let everybody know what we're doing out here. So we're trying to restrict the occupancy intentionally. We're not asking you, we're not asking planning commission to get involved with the fire department and it makes the PCD, or whether it has to be sprinkled or not. It's a lot easier for us to stand in front of them and say, we're limiting this occupancy to 50, and here's the community that did it. This is the document that did it. So, for your guys' sake, and one we all know about from, the newspaper lately, but the Crown Uptown was a PUD that restricted occupancy with the PUD that our office was. The Andre Commercial Community Plan Unit Development, which is an entertainment facility in Southwest Wichita, will be limited occupancy with the PUD. The Kelsey Event Center, which is another event center, which was part of the PUD, we limited occupancy with the PUD. There was a, conditional use permit for an event center at the waterfront. And they limited the occupancy of that event center through zoning document, wasn't PUD, through the conditional use. So this is not new. This happens. Some of those planning staff asked for it to happen. Some of those, the applicant did it on their own. With that, I'm gonna stop for a minute. I'm gonna invite Luke and then Stan and Rick up, and the four of us are gonna tag team answer your questions depending on how difficult the question is.
May I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
And just so the district advisory board knows, I know you understand. So for our community members who may not, as a council member, state statute, I cannot weigh in on, and I can't, in any way say I'm leaning this way or I'm thinking that way, but I can ask questions if I don't know the answer, right?
Okay.
So my first question real quick is, you want to have it be occupancy limited to 50 people, is that correct?
We listed 45, so the
45.
number is 50. If you're under 50, not required to sprinkle, depending on how they classify the building.
And I did, as I stated, had ex parte communication with the applicant, the sprinkler system, that's based on square foot, not by occupancy. But my question is, and it just kind of dawned on me when you were speaking, because we're talking about different numbers. So you want it to be limited to 45 humans inside the building, is that correct?
Yes,
Then why would you want 60 parking places?
that 60 covers both buildings. It covers go time at the same time as it covers this building.
Thank you very much.
And we want, and I'm gonna expand for a minute, we want MABCD to look at this building exactly like we're looking at go time. Which is a training facility, not assembly. Assembly's a church, assembly's a music theater, assembly's. And we're gathering a lot of people there for an event. This is the training facility, no different than go time.
Okay.
Does Go Time have fire suppression? No
But-
standpipe?
No.
Those
But
purposes.
keep in mind, sprinkler systems are based on square foot. I don't know the square footage of go time versus this, so, yeah.
Oh, well, they're both, and I don't mean to be
Yep.
difficult, and
Yep.
I'm not asking,
And
I'm
so,
not asking you to get into red or.
no,
green.
that's what I was just gonna say, as a friendly reminder to the district advisory board. We do not decide about sprinkler system. That goes through building code, fire marshal, all the things. So tonight, we are focusing on, is this an appropriate use of the land, right? Golden rules, is this an appropriate use of the land? So yes, would the applicant like to make a few comments?
Well, Phil did a wonderful job walking through it. I guess all I want to say is,
You say your name.
sorry, Luke Proctor, thank you for having me. This is something that I'm building for my daughter for personal usage. There's gonna be no commercial usage whatsoever. We're not renting this out. We're not letting anybody that we don't know use it. But for my daughter and her friends, we'll have normally have small group workouts there. There's probably part of the team, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. There will be times we have a full team practice there. There's 12 girls on the team. She's 10 years old. She loves softball. I love coaching her. So we're gonna spend the next 10 years of our life before she goes away to college and I lose her. So it's and as Phil said, the difference here is this is probably already a little bit of an insane decision for me economically. But it's again where I was. There's 3 things I think that could be in play, and they understand this way better than I do. But 1 is sprinkling the building, 2 is the number of parking spaces, and 3 is what happens from a restroom requirement standpoint. And I think the current Class A or whatever it is, that we need to have that conversation elsewhere. Basically deemed the occupancy of 300 plus for this building, which is. Couldn't be further from what we're planning to do with it. They said 45 would be more probably by a factor of 2x than we'll ever have in it. Biggest scenario I can see is 12 girls practicing, 10 or 12 parents that are hanging around watching them practice, and that's it. And so, again, it's a little bit economically the same decision when we start adding in additional parking, we start adding in the restroom requirement that comes with 300 plus people. When you start talking about sprinkling it, it makes it cost prohibitive. So it's kind of a dream, it's a vision for us that we'd love to do. I guess this just, from an economic standpoint, this adds a lot that goes to that level of occupancy.
Any questions for the applicant or the agent from the district advisory board? Tim?
Two quick comments. One, the nature of this building is not our concern. The use of the land is the only thing that we can weigh in on. Having said that, if we approve your request, it does give you leverage with other city departments, which I assume that is what you're looking for. I am a little concerned about limiting the occupancy, not just because of the fire suppression, but because of the utility and resaleability of this property. Not whether or not it ends up with fire suppression, but if it ends up with this limited occupancy. If the occupancy, correct me if I'm wrong, Christina, but if the occupancy limit is written into the PUD, in order to change that occupancy, you're gonna have to go, you or someone else will have to come back through this same equivalent of a zoning process, a PUD amendment, which will be time consuming and costly. So I want to bring that to your attention. Those are my two comments.
Yeah. Well, if I can, I wouldn't use the word leverage, although I understand, I'm okay with that. But it adds clarity when we're talking.
Certainly
We're
does.
restricting ourselves. And it does, it limits redevelopment of this building to, it's limited, who can buy it, there's gonna be somebody else that wants to do the exact same thing with it. And that's okay, there's always a use for those practices out there, but nobody can change that. Without doing a public hearing, without addressing the parking, without addressing the sprinkler system, so. City should appreciate this step, not go, hey, you're just trying to get a sprinkle in the building, well, no, when we go to do the next step, we gotta come out and show everybody what we're gonna do.
So I think that eyes wide open, I appreciate what you said. I know that I'm probably, again, making another decision that economically limits me on the backside, limits the marketability of it. I would say in East Wichita, there's very limited access to stuff like this. It's been a frustration we've had and other people have had as far as really good practice facilities for baseball, softball. So putting in a big shell with turf field is something that may have a limited market, but there's also limited out there. So I feel like 10 years from now, there's somebody else probably just as crazy as myself who would love to make the investment for their family. But if not, I know that could be economically impactful.
Any other questions for the applicant or the agent? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the bench. Sorry, back to the board, the district advisory board. Sorry, does anybody have any further questions for Christina?
Christina, so if I'm reading this document correctly, you basically say that you're not a fan of them doing that, but you're still going for approval of the
Yes.
occupancy.
Yeah, so if you look on page 7 of the staff report, provision
Okay.
number 2 talks about the maximum occupancy, so we struck that through on the PUD text.
Okay, so you are not so with your recommendations, it would be approved otherwise, and that would be at 50.
Subject to a modified PUD text, correct?
Okay.
So just to make sure, say that like you would say it to your neighbor at the mailbox.
Okay, sorry, sometimes yes. So we are, if the modified conditions are met on page 7 and 8 of the staff report, then we are recommending approval.
So what I hear you saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, just to make sure, because I see some head shaking now, like what? So if the district advisory board approves this with staff recommendations, then the occupancy is 50 and not 45.
No, we are not commenting on occupancy.
Gotcha. Okay. Just want to make sure.
We will
Everyone knows.
leave that to building and fire.
Thank you very much. John, you had a question?
I
Or
was gonna make a motion to approve.
is there any other discussion?
I would just
All right.
agree with the, some of those, it comes up in county as well. People don't like the fire or the building. That's not our job here, so I would agree with whatever motion is to approve.
Okay. Thank you very much, John.
Motion was approved with, staff condition.
Can you say that a little louder?
Motion to approve, including the staff conditions.
Any further discussion?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Well, the applicant, you had an opportunity to speak, but if you'd like, if you have you can make a quick. Sure.
So I understand if it approves with their recommendations, we are not meeting the occupancy limitations we requested. That's basically denying the occupancy limitation.
Christina.
So then the occupancy would be deemed like 300 as opposed to 45. Is that correct?
That is my
Yes,
understanding. Yes.
Second that motion.
So you have made a recommendation to approve with the staff's, you made a motion to approve with the staff's recommendation,
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
And you still second that?
Yeah.
Is there further discussion, questions from the district advisory board?
Seeking clarity.
Seeking clarity.
We are approving the applicant's request in all ways except imposing a maximum occupancy. Correct?
Correct, so I mean, there's some provisions in here, so. You know, we're restricting limited industrial except for the uses that are in red. And then
Right.
with the strike through, we as a planning department. We are not imposing a maximum occupancy.
I just wanted to be clear.
Yep.
For everyone in here, particularly the applicant, that this is the only thing that we are not approving.
Is the
That you're
limitation.
requesting is that occupancy limit. We're just not taking a stand on it one way or the other.
Okay. And it's fine to say you're confused or you need clarification. Does everybody feel they understand exactly what's happening?
I have one more question.
Okay, please.
In the event that this passes in the capacity with staff recommendations, do they have a process that they can appeal that for the occupancy?
And I'll, tell me when I'm wrong, Christina, if tonight it passes or it doesn't, it still has to go to MAPC on Thursday. If MAPC approves exactly what the district advisory board approves, it goes to city council on consent.
Correct.
If the
No
MAP
protests are received.
and no protests, which, yeah, if the MAPC, Metropolitan Area Planning Commission makes a different recommendation, then it will go to the city council meeting, but it will be on new business and not consent. So that's the appeal process, if you will, pending no petitions. It's complicated. Does everybody understand? Do you need any other? Okay. See lots of head shaking. Okay, so we have a motion. We have a second. Is there further discussion?
I don't like how we're limiting personal property rights through this, even with staff recommending, like even though staff's recommending that, like we're limiting what they can physically do with their own property.
Actually, we're saying they can have as many people in there as they want.
But they're not wanting that, correct?
They're volunteering like that. So we're not.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but this building could be sold in 10 years. And again, this might come up. And we don't have anything to do at the zoning board with
Right.
Building codes and or fire codes. So, I mean, I don't think it's limiting personal property rights. I think this board can't weigh in on whether or not we agree or don't agree with building and fire code.
We are just
Yeah, I agree
deciding
with
if
that.
this is an appropriate use of the land. I'm sorry to be redundant, but I'll say it 50 times.
And our vote is a recommendation. It's not a decision.
Yeah, it's not binding, right? Okay. Thank you for all the great comments, questions. Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Christina. Last but not least, PUD 2025-00006. Floor is yours.
All right, The applicant for this case is requesting a zone change from general office to planned unit development. To create the central garage condos addition, PUD, number 142. It's a little bit under an acre in size at 12421 East Central Avenue. There was a single family dwelling on site that was removed earlier this year, so it's currently undeveloped. So the proposed PUD would have one parcel, parcel 1. And they propose 13 self-storage units that each have 25.5 feet length and 45 in depth. The PUD proposes a 20-foot front building setback and 10-foot setbacks on the sides and rear. One access point from East Central Avenue, a maximum height of 45 feet. That would not be subject to height or compatibility height or setback standards. And staff is recommending a maximum height of 35, which matches the height restriction not only of the compatibility standards, but of the surrounding zoning in the area. They're requesting to allow use permitted by right in the office warehouse district, which includes community assemblies, construction sales and service, nurseries, wine and sales. It does not allow for any residential uses. It's located on an arterial street, but it is adjacent to residential zoning to the east, west, and north. The PUD text that you see is attached to the end of your report. And let's see, in the office warehouse district, self-service storage is permitted with a conditional use subject to supplementary use regulations, which I talked about in a previous report. I talked about earlier today. According to the PUD document, parking on site would be the same as section 4 of the Unified Zoning Code. 6 parking spaces would be in the front, and then the garage condominiums would have their own covered parking space. The Wichita Landscape Code comes into play here, so they are following the regulations set forth by the Wichita Landscape Code. Because the applicant is requesting a reduction in setbacks along the side and rear property lines, we're recommending that the landscape buffer along the property lines be at least 1.5 times the standard, and then at least 50% of the trees are evergreen. In terms of signage, it's the same as the office warehouse building district standards, except for no LED or electronic message signs. Ground, portable, and building signs are allowed. But no sign for ground and full sign shall exceed 32 square feet. They would adhere to the screening standards set forth in the zoning code, which is a minimum solid screening fence for abutting residential zone properties that include east, west, and south. The PUD does not specify lighting standards, so staff recommends an additional provision in which lighting is limited to 15 feet height. The character of the neighborhood is residential on the arterial street, and then as we get closer to the intersection of Central and 127, we're seeing more. So this site was zoned single family previously, and then was changed to general office in 2018. The requested zone change is in conformance with the community investments plan, the residential or the Wichita Future Growth Concept Map identifies the site as appropriate for residential and employment mix. Staff is recommending approval of the application, subject to the approved PUD language, and then just standard conditions that we apply for all of these developments. This recommendation is based on the golden rules. This went to the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission on May 22nd, and they recommended approval. I believe it was 6-5. It was pretty close. And the application was also protested, and it was 90%. So let's go to the site photos, please.
What was
So-
90%?
The protest. Protest.
90% of the owners in the area protested this application, or
Okay.
land in this application is
I
protested.
might
thank you.
clarify 90% of those within the 200
Within the 200
yards.
application
Foot,
area.
sorry, but yeah.
Yes, so regardless, if it's going to go to city council as a non-consent item, but as always, we welcome the board recommendation.
Yeah.
So I have the site photos here, and with that, I will stand for questions. Thank you.
Before we get to questions from the district advisory board, I just want to state I had ex parte communication with the applicant. I have had ex parte communication with the agent. I have had ex parte communication with multiple community members, and I attended the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission on May 22nd. So, district advisory board members, what questions do you have for Christina? And keep in mind, remember again, I'm gonna be redundant one more time and make Aaron smile. We're only thinking tonight, is this an appropriate use of the land?
One quick question to clarify. I noticed the word condos, or maybe it's somewhat simple garage condos, or I'm assuming this is storage.
Yes, it will be limited to storage because as it mentions in the PUD, the default is office warehouse zoning. And that does not allow for any residential use. So if they want to clarify what they mean by condo storage, they're having to do that.
Is,
Any other questions?
yeah,
Yes, Faith.
like literally right next to that is iStorage? Is this the same, is it like an extension? Is that why there's so many like restrictions? Or is this a completely separate business?
I believe this is a completely separate business, but I will clarify that with the agent now.
Okay.
Okay, they can clarify that.
Any other questions from district advisory board? Okay, with that, we're gonna turn it over to the owner, excuse me, the applicant and the agent, and Ken, about 3 minutes, does that sound good?
If I could have a couple minutes more than that, I actually have a slideshow I'd like.
Okay.
to provide.
Tim is gonna serve as our timer this evening, can we have 5?
And I'll run
And
through this
please-
pretty quickly. It won't take much to do this here, but let me know when you're ready to go.
We're ready to go, can you state your name for the
My
record?
name is Ken Leon Garber. I'm the agent for the applicant. I'll say that a big part of the confusion here is lack of understanding of the situation. I think there's a lot of people here who want this to be a single family property and they're protesting this because they feel like that's what they want there. And I'll go through what's gonna go on and as far as get this to work.
You have to turn it on the slide. It'll be free for most.
Okay. So I think there's a lot of confusion about what's going on. Current zoning here, we can have with the zoning with general office, it allows single family, duplex, and multifamily assisted living. Cemeteries, churches, hotels, daycares, hospitals, you can see the list. So it is a wide range of uses, and in the area right now. There's medical services, storage, single family, multifamily bank, automobile repair. There's a lot of different uses that are all visible within that picture there. And
Ken, aim it this way, the numbers over here.
okay, so one of the complaints or one of the concerns of the planning commission was the height of the buildings, and right diagonally across the street, we have 3-story apartment buildings that are 50 feet tall. So the notion that our project is bringing these towering buildings that are gonna change the character of the neighborhood isn't accurate. Another thing is storage units. There's a lot of complaints about storage units and the crime and the traffic. As she mentioned, the iStorage units are right by here. This project is not gonna be like that. If you're familiar with the area over at Central Greenwich, there's an executive store project that was recently constructed. This is gonna be more like that, so it's gonna be a nicer looking building. They're gonna do a different kind of siding. It's not gonna be metal buildings is their plan. Cause they heard the complaints from the neighborhood, so it's gonna be more of a neighborhood finish. It'll be a lot more siding on the building. So there's already storage units there. There's already large metal buildings in the area. This is right across, this is diving southeast of our project. So there's a lot in commercial uses. So there's a lot of talk about changing the character of the neighborhood. And we feel like this mixes in well with the neighborhood. It's compatible with the other uses of the neighborhood. There's already storage nearby. This is similar to the executive store. And the reality is, we're doing this, it's garage condos, as mentioned, the condo part is, they're gonna be owned by individuals, that they will not allow occupancy. There'll be a bathroom, but no sleeping facilities, those aren't allowed. They're gonna have covenants to implement quiet hours from 9 PM to 8 AM. Depending on the size, one side's 139,000, The west side's 139, the east side's 185,000. This will be gated access. One of the changes we did request was okay. One of the requests was 4 spots instead of 6 on the front. And then real quick, the one thing I want to point out is the vote tonight isn't about single family versus these garage condos.
Christina, you were doing it. Can you click it for me?
Yeah, can you just put it forward for me? I don't know why it's locked up. So go on, you just jump back to these. We got the lap siding, but if we don't do the garage condos, it's gonna be duplexes. It's allowed by right, and there's time and place for duplexes. I've done dozens of developments with duplexes. We don't feel like that's the best use for this area. So, but we'll put, he's gonna put 7 duplexes on the site. We're gonna do garage areas. So when folks are wanting to speak tonight, I'm glad to see a crowd. I want your opinion on it. Would you rather be duplexes here or garage homes? It doesn't matter to the developer. At this point, he's worn out. He knows that there's a lot of frustration. It's gonna be a choice. That's what you're speaking about tonight. Would you rather have duplexes in this lot or garage condos? And it doesn't matter to the developer. That's the message you want me to put out there. Whatever you guys want, he's gonna do. So with that, I'll take questions from the board and then we got a group here who wants to talk.
I'm just gonna make one statement for the record. The decision from this district advisory board is not, do you want storage or do you want duplexes? It's what, Aaron? What's the best use of the land? We are not deciding if it's storage or if it's duplexes. That is not our decision, okay? The owner can make the decision pending tonight's vote. So Aaron, what is the decision the district advisory board is making tonight?
The best use of the land.
Thank you. Awesome. I appreciate it. Okay, any questions for the agent?
So will you be submitting a zoning request for duplexes as well then?
It's not required, it's allowed by right if the
Okay.
property. You know, it won't require any change. It will only be a site plan submitted to planning or to for permits and that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the for the applicant's agent? Okay, seeing none, Ken, stay close by. Thank you. Next, we will go to the community members. I know there's lots of folks here tonight. So we'll ask that you, Christina, have a seat. It's gonna be a bit. We ask that you state your name and your address for the record, and if you can do that so that our wonderful Teresa can be able to get it down. And we will ask that each community member limit their comments to 3 minutes. And again, Tim is gonna serve as our timer. And if you are speaking, when we always ask this and they ask at MAPC, we ask it at council, if you have something new to say compared to maybe what all of your neighbors have said, that would be fantastic. We see your presence here, so if everybody's just gonna say the same thing, you know, we understand if you want to, you sure can, but if you have something new to say, that would be the most helpful for this body. So with that, our first speaker.
Hi, my name is Susan Poole, and I live at 384 North Jackson Heights Court in the Marinetta neighborhood. We live directly across the lake from the site under consideration, which is a strong differentiator from commercial property at Central and 107th Street, just to clarify some of the previous slides. I'm here today to express my strong opposition to the MAPC barely approved self-storage facility in a well-established residential neighborhood. My husband and I purchased our house not quite 4 years ago, and we made a pretty significant investment. After spending over 2 decades outside the city, we were really reluctant to move back into Wichita due to our perceptions about crime, about lack of emergency response time, but ultimately the serene environment of the lake and the natural beauty convinced us that we would make a move. Our house has expansive glass walls and it centers around the lake view, which are an integral part of our daily living. This proposed development disrupts the neighborhood. A 25-foot steel storage facility lit at night and consuming nearly the entire site, 0.93 acres, is entirely incompatible with the surrounding residential character. The limited landscaping that's proposed can't conceal the structure. And in fact, it will sit just 50 feet from the closest home, 50 feet. And during the winter months, particularly when foliage is sparse, we'll be able to see it. I understand that the developer resides in a neighborhood with homes that are of similar value. Not far from 13, not really far from us, between 13th and 127th, 143rd. I respectfully suggest to you that if this project were proposed across the street from his house, he would be standing here where I am today. It appears that he's looking for a place to storage for his personal RV. And he wants it in our neighborhood because his own has covenants that don't fit. Beyond aesthetics, the concerns for us are practical and serious. These types of facilities are increasingly targets for theft, and there's potential for nuisance activities also. These units are marketed as condos, which are really man caves, which raises questions about the use of the facility in addition to just being for RV storage. Runoff from the vehicles stored here, by the way, goes directly into our lake behind us. What's more troubling is that many residents, including ourselves and others with sizable investments, only found out about this quite by accident due to the 200-foot restriction. Yet, this was approved fairly by the MAPC without renderings, which further underscores a lack of transparency. The potential for our decreased property values, increased safety concerns for us, and a disruption to our neighborhood's character are real and lasting. Wichita's already experiencing suburban flight, driven in part by zoning decisions that threaten the stability of our communities. If approved, you could just consider that also. I respectfully encourage you to reject this request and preserve our neighborhoods.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next speaker, please, if you can state your name and your address clearly so that Teresa can make sure we get it in the minutes. And we'll start the timer and have 3 minutes.
Great.
Thank you.
My name is Carrie George. I live at 502 North Ridge Street. So I am directly north of where this proposed property is. My husband has our daughter outside, so I'm gonna read our neighbors to the south statement. Fred and Cleo Stewart are away on family business, so I'm gonna read their statement from the planning commission. My name is Cleone Stewart, and my husband Fred and I live directly behind the lot being considered for rezoning. Fred and I are strongly opposed to the proposed zoning change for the property located at 12421 East Central. There will be immediate impact to our property value of the zoning change to allow RV storage vaults, which are really just steel industrial buildings, are allowed. This will also hurt our quality of life as well as the natural landscapes we have worked tirelessly to improve and preserve. Our home sits back from East Central and is nestled in trees and a lovely cove and lakeside views. We have invested heavily in maintaining and improving the landscape. We and other neighbors maintain the lake. We hope to live here until we die. We moved here in June of 2016 and have done much of the work ourselves, investing a considerable amount of time and money here. Friends and family gather at our home because of our oasis, and it is so inviting. We like to entertain, and people say here feels like a visit to the country. We have even installed 2 zip lines and a playhouse for our great grandchildren. The proposed building will sit just 10 feet from our property line and only 50 feet from our house. Potential tenants or unit owners will be able to come and go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, disturbing our peace and quiet. Overhead lighting this close to our house will be disruptive to us and take away from the natural setting of our home. The developer isn't worried about how close the building is to our house. He also said that he is building this to have a man cave or a party house for grown-ups. This is supported by the opportunity for buyers to have kitchenettes and bathrooms in these heated and cooled units. That is the last thing we want as almost 80-year-old homeowners. The minimum landscaping the code requires will shelter us from this multi-story structure. Lights will be well above our house and will ruin the solitude of our home all hours, day and night. The driveway is planned to be 60 feet wide, just leaving little room for any green space. Even more devastating for us is the plan to remove many of the large trees that currently shield the view from our home to Central Avenue. The trees are also home to wildlife that live at the lake. We are also concerned about the property being a target for burglars and an increased security risk for us. We are also concerned there will be confusion when turning into the property. We do not want potential party goers using our driveway instead of a facility driveway. Realtors told us that if this building is allowed, our property value will increase by 20 to 30%. The neighbors west of us, also our age, were also worried about this proposed zoning change. They hurried to auction their property and have already moved. Oh, sorry.
Can you maybe wrap it up in a few seconds?
We just encourage you to keep this residential bubble that it is, because there are commercial to the edges, but this is in the center of a residential bubble.
Thank you. And thank you for reading on behalf of your neighbors.
Ma'am, say your name again. Carrie, Kerri George.
All right, who's next?
Hi, my name is Bonnie Ernst, and my husband, Barry LaVar, and I live at 12317 Central, which is 2 properties to the west of this property. I don't have a whole lot more to add to what has already been stated, except that we moved to our property in August, I believe it was, of 1996. So we've been there almost 30 years. Our son was barely over a year old when we moved in there, and I say only one thing else. When we moved there, Central was still 2 lane. We were not in the city limits yet. There was no storage facility. There was no gas station at Central and 127. There was a house next to it, and just to the west of us with an orchard. There was no development. There was nothing. There was complete solitude. It was all trees. It was the most beautiful place we could have ever imagined near Wichita. The city moved to us, basically. When the hotel was proposed next to us, when the real estate office was proposed, I protested. I didn't go for any of that. I didn't want the hotel. It was not suitable for a residential area. When the existing storage facility, an iStore, was proposed, that was not suitable. None of that was suitable for the residential area that was there. It all came. Luckily, not much of the flavor to my south, to where the lake is, changed. This would change. This would change things dramatically. North of us, when the Crest Lake area from Canyons, when all of that development has happened in these 30 years, it's become much more residential than it ever was. And to put something like this and just slap more of a slap face. Never mind the property. They would stay further. So I'm completely against this. I'm our son or granddaughter, would never do it, so it was very much against it.
Thank you, Ms. Ernst. Next speaker, please. Looks like we have a gentleman coming up. And if you can state your name and your address clearly for Teresa, that would be fantastic.
Yes, my name is Chris Lawrence. I live at 501 North Woodridge Street. And recently, my fiance and I just purchased that house a little over a year ago. We bought the house because of the beauty of the area, let alone the wildlife that we do see come through our backyard. And also the wildlife preserve that we have directly to the west of us. We bought this house and our living room and dining room actually have a big window. And with that window there, the lighting from the storage unit will blind us tremendously. We are also opposed of having it built because of obviously our lowering our decreasing our property value. Like I said, we just bought this house, we love it. And to bring this up all of a sudden with hearing about how it's going to be a man cave or duplexes or whatever it is, it's really got our concerns. Also, knowing the runoff from antifreeze, the runoff from hazardous materials from motorhomes into our water supply, into the lake, it's a first concern that might be have. Obviously, everybody else has pretty much covered it all. I just wanted to come up and give you my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence.
Yep.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Like we have a couple.
Hi.
Hey.
We are Kelly and Gary Peters. We reside at 506 North Woodridge. We custom built our home 15 years ago. There have been some changes in the neighborhood, but across the street from us, Woodridge, and across from Central, there has always been a residential home there. A residential single home structure. So of course, we oppose any kind of another type of building. It seems like the owner of this land, the purchaser, has fluctuated a lot. We originally heard it was gonna be a 35-foot metal structure. It seems because they found out there was opposition, then they changed their track on that. Even tonight, we're hearing that they changed their track again with, oh, well, if it's not gonna be this people, it will be duplexes. And that sounds a little threatening to our neighborhood. As Mrs. Poole stated, that was a residential bubble. And yes, on either corners of Greenwich at 127 and at Central, or excuse me, Central and Greenwich, there are some commercial things that are there. But I guess I just think, why should our neighborhood have to put up with another unsightly building in our residential home area? Our property values will be impacted. There will be destructing security lighting. As you all know, 90% of us who live within 200 feet don't want to see this happen in our neighborhood. I primarily am here because of Mr. and Mrs. Stewart, who cannot be here tonight. I want to be a voice for them. Can any of you imagine if someone was going to put up a structure like this in front of your home? In front of your beautiful home where you have a lake in back, you have wildlife, you have a beautiful serene place. Someone wants to come in and put up a big ugly structure in front of. Originally, we heard it would be 40 feet from their house. Now I heard someone say 50 feet. But a lot of beautiful trees are right around their home that will come down so that a building can go up. Another thing that just really gets me, we've heard them called garage condos, we've heard them called man caves. They just keep shifting what they're calling us. Okay, why, if this is a storage unit for some RVs, why do you need a bathroom in it? Someone answer that.
Ma'am, if you can maybe give us your last thought, your 3 minutes is up.
Okay, I mean, I'm just saying, think about that. Why do you need a bathroom in a storage unit? If you went and got a 10-foot storage unit somewhere, would it have a bathroom in it? A restroom? Why do you need that? There's other purposes that people want to use this. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Peters. Mr. Peters, are you gonna make comments as well, or?
The only thing is, I just wanted to say that, as you think, about having a building in front of your house and wherever they tried to put this 2 other places and got turned down. And one of them is pretty close to, basically, this guy is the builder, the owner, his house, so it's not good enough for him. Just because he's got money, why should we have to, be to lower class people? That's all I gotta say is that, people behind there, gonna be looking at that for the rest of life, they got a pretty cool place over there. And like they say, there's a place on 127th Street to build them over there, I mean, yeah, just take it down there and run competition with the people behind the Quick Trip down there, there's a lot of space down there to be sure, so. That's all I can say.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming, sir. Next speaker. Welcome.
Good evening, my name is Jim Wilson, with the 332 North Jackson Sports. I understand everybody here is very proud, we're going to pick. This should be for the best use of this property. Question is, best use of this property for who? People who have to look at it and live with it, or the investor who has had an offer. Make this an acceptable position and has turned it down. Been offered land that he commenced building on immediately, put up his bungalows for his friends, and leave this property to be developed by the neighborhood in a position that is good for the neighbor. He threatens us now tonight with bringing in condos. Duplexes. And let's make it section 8 also. Now, that's a wedge that's going to drive great big war. So you guys get to decide whether you're going to recommend the best use of this property is for the developer and his pocketbook. Or you're going to recommend that it's for the community. That's the question that's going to be before you tonight. So I hope that you'll go for the community. Because the community can satisfy the builder's needs. He has to take a note. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Wilson, not to split hairs, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page again. This body or MAPC or the city council doesn't decide the best use for the land. We decide, is this an appropriate use for the land, right? So just want to make sure that we're, because it's different.
Ma'am, I would challenge your words for what you said earlier.
If I said best, I apologize. I apologize if I said best. It's what's the appropriate use of the land. I thought I said that every time, but I absolutely, okay that I didn't, and I'm sorry, but it is, what is the most appropriate use of the land? Is this an appropriate use of the land? Is fair question, but is it an appropriate use of land? I just want to make sure. Thank you, sir. Welcome.
My name is Steve Lockhart. I live with my wife on Crest Lake Edition across the circle from this. I think this proposal has been beaten all over the place. It's all over the road, so to speak, in my opinion. I'm here tonight as the current president of the HOA, which I get to see. This is my third term over there in session. It's in 15 years that we've lived there. In doing that, though, I've had a chance to watch this community grow, neighbors, friends with these people. The thing that really I want to bring out in this thing is that it's pretty consistent that most of these people generally characterize it. It's a real combination between retirees and professional people, really. And now it's really becoming more of a family neighborhood because when we moved there, there were maybe 2 or 3 kids that were going to school. We had a July the 4th parade this year, can't believe that. And so that's how we've grown just as the family. We're in the Butler school district, so that's a place to attract the neighborhood as well. You have a good, Central America type feeling, everybody's friendly, even though it has this big time, feel, because it has all the amenities of a larger city that you don't have, right? I want to give you guys a good word of thanks for the opportunity, because this would not have happened if you not had presented the opportunity for us to do this. And thank you very much for this process to do that. I think everything has been said tonight, except I just don't see with the new reiteration of the definition of what the board's responsibility is, that we don't fit into that from that category, which way you can look at it. I know what our intent was when we said that part when we thought it was understanding, but it just shouldn't belong there. What we call it appropriate or whatever you want to call it, just doesn't belong there. If you look at the 15 years that I've been there, when we made the decision to make it a retirement home, it's grown better than that, because in the meantime, we have 2 kids now, one in Hamilton and another one who lives north of Derby here now, just moved into the community. So whole family's kind of getting into the area now, so we're in the center point, kind of halfway between. So it really works out. I really hopefully the board really thinks about this very hard, particularly with the 9% and a constant drumming that this is opposed to this area. You know, we've got the Woodridge side of it, every house in that division was right down the street. People say anytime they walk out their front door, they got the mail, they see that facility. At night, when they take their walks, they're gonna see that facility. It becomes an eyesore, for lack of a better word. Great intentions, but not appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lockhart. Thank you for serving as the HOA president. Huge job, I know, a thankless job, so thank you for your 3 terms. Would you be willing to entertain a question from one of the advisory board members?
What is the actual, hi, I'm Bruce. What is the actual name of your HOA?
Crest Lake Master Homeowners Association.
Crestlink Master.
Crest Lake.
Okay, and is that officially registered
Yes.
as a HOA?
Yeah.
How many residents are involved?
We have 65 homes.
65 homes. And where is your HOA geographically from this
North.
piece of land?
North.
That's directly north. Okay,
Tree line is the dam for the lake. And we have an entry on Woodridge, which looks directly at the facility.
okay.
It goes around to the cul-de-sac and comes out on the bracket from the other side.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for entertaining the questions.
I watched
Next
it be
speaker,
built.
please. I'm sorry.
I watched that neighborhood be built.
Welcome, sir. If you could state your name and your address.
John Green Street, 388 North Jackson Heights. I've been a developer for many years and developed the Marietta addition, phase 1, 2, and 3. Behind the south of this property, and we've built a lot of very lovely homes in there, and I hate to see the storage units, although I know he's wanting to build the units, and he says if he doesn't build the units, he wants to build the duplexes. And unfortunately, that would be his right to do so. But I think the storage units would be the wrong facility for this particular location. It's just, we can move it around the corner to another location that's already zoned commercial. Unfortunately, we have to deal with what we have to deal with. I think this is the wrong use for that type of facility.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Greenstreet. Next speaker, please. Welcome.
I'm your Brooke Hoffman, and may I?
What was your last name?
Speak up, please. Yes. Lochman, Lochmann. That is. Your first. DROOKE. So I'm a community psychiatrist here and I live in Crest Lake. With several other physicians and moms like me in the neighborhood. And I was not planning on speaking tonight, but after I quickly looked at what condo storage units were. I actually have a storage unit, the other the little one, but when I saw the price that we have to specify not to spend the night in quiet areas. And you know, I start thinking about Andover schools or at Wheatland, I'm like number 2 in the state, right? And so there's a lot of movement in our neighborhood of children. We were part of the parade. And my daughter actually this last year had to be counseled at school because we had somebody that was attacking someone in broad daylight. That was kind of residing some at the Baymont Hotel. And I had to be contacted by our school too, because we had to warn our children of who to go with. So these are expensive units, but I think the psychiatrist in me is gonna say, the first thing I see on AI is seeing man caves and this. I worry Wichita is huge for trafficking. And we all know that, and working in the hospitals. So I just want to bring some things out there. Ideally, maybe somebody is a Lamborghini and is in a nice $200,000. I don't have the money to do that, but has one of these units. But I sure hope that nothing else is gonna be over there with our school children, getting on the buses and growing in this community with something like that. So I would think about appropriate uses of the land for, this is Wichita, the Andover schools and that, and the safety of your school children getting on buses. Every morning we start at 8:45 and most people's work day doesn't start at 8:45, so there's gonna be some children out there sitting unattended. So just gonna put that out there.
Thank you, Dr. Lockman. Next speaker, please. Okay, we got your PowerPoint.
That is the people's house that we're talking about, all of these trees that have gone. Thank you, Ken, for pointing that out.
And Mr. Poole sent a PowerPoint to Teresa and I. We made copies. Mr. Poole is aware that he still has 3 minutes. So he's, I think, just gonna highlight a few slides. Mike Poole.
Mike Poole, 3 and 4, perfect, nice work. It's not working.
Teresa, can you just advance the slides? Which slide did you want to highlight, Mr. Poole?
Go ahead and go back to the last one. Oh, can you flip back to that one slide real quick? One more. That's how close this will be to the Stewart's house. All right. Okay, all the way back, the last slide. I'm sorry, one. There we go. Okay, just real quick, let's talk about what you take for yourself. Stewart's property, total impact, they're dead centered against where we're at. They'll be looking at a big wall, 35 foot tall. They will have a nice wind screen coming down to the middle of there in the middle of the winter. But that's just about it. It's a horrid place for them to be. They're gonna lose a hell of a lot of money on their property. There will be impact to the environment. You can see around those pictures are actually over this year, around the lake. All the water that's gonna come off of that property, they say they're gonna push it towards Central. Well, gosh, if you go down to Central and look, it goes all the way down the street and then it rolls back into the lake down by the office building. So that's another one of Ken's good, farsight. Developer, he always said, I want to be a good neighbor. I want to be a good neighbor. He walked into the Stewart's house and said, I'm gonna be a good neighbor. If you vote this down, we're gonna put up those ugly things and you're gonna have it worse than you had before. That's a good neighbor. That's not gonna stay far, I don't think. 90%, I said, that doesn't include the 35 to 38 protest forms that were actually filled out. That only represents the 200 feet around. And the only reason it wasn't 100% because that one person wasn't here. At the commission, it was 6 to 5. 3 of those 6, I found out, had actually built these kinds of units. 3 of the 6. Oh, but none of them were built in neighborhoods. 2 of the 5 that voted against the rezone, of those, 2 of those people stood up and said, and Becky was there, she saw it. When are we ever gonna listen to the homeowners? The people who are affected? And one of those, by the way, not that same person, another one of that five was a person who builds these kinds of buildings, and he voted against it. It's not the property used for the property.
You have about
And as-
20 seconds left.
And John said, we went with them in good faith. This is not about having a residential relationship. I know who you represent. It is not about that. What it is really about is finding the right use for the area itself. We made him an offer, he refused it. We went and found property in a better spot, a half a block to a block away, that we would buy and do a complete trade for him. And he said, no. No. So how should you vote? I would say no, especially if you believe in the neighborhood. What are we gonna do with the property if we have it? We're gonna put trees on it and treat it as a park.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Poole, and thank you for sending the PowerPoint in advance and having copies for it.
Yeah.
Is there another speaker? Sir?
Marty Kowalski, I live at 368 North Jackson Heights. Retired here recently and moved from Atlanta, Georgia.
Welcome.
Thank you. Never ever wanted to be involved in this process, but being there in May, it just seems like the goalposts are always moving. I think I heard, and sometimes at home I get told I don't listen, but I think there was patios or like concrete was supposed to be poured behind this, and I think that goes along with the restaurants. But, and then, the other thing, you know, with the comparisons of ATMs and cemeteries, they don't come alive after 8 o'clock. And we know exactly what's gonna happen, because you can compare it to the storage unit up the street. When I drive, when I'm going to the golf course, you don't hardly even notice those lower storage units, but I guess ask your question is, how many restrooms, like the lady said, does each individual storage unit at the storage unit have it? We know what this is all about, the storage units. And everything else has been beat to death, so that's it.
Thank you very much for your time. Next speaker, please. Yes, sir.
My name is John Crady, K-R-E-A-D-Y. I live at 517 North Woodridge. So Woodridge runs north and south. There are 20 homes that when we go out to our friend's yard, we'll be lifting storage. There's no way that you could adequately landscape a 40-foot building. I mean, you can build a 20-foot berm high, you put trees on it, it's gonna look back. The businesses that are there, the small self-storage units, they do a bad job of landscaping, but when I've even gone in there and talked to them, tell them they need to mow the yards, the bushes are dry or die, and nothing's dead, but they're so low that even those few trees, they're, you know, steep. If you look at the real estate people, they have a beautiful lake, it's beautifully landscaped. Even the hotel was set back quite a ways, they have decent landscape. You cannot landscape the 40-foot units. You could put in some, if we had to, if we have no other decision and it's their decision. Hasteful duplexes would be better, but. And you could landscape them nicely, but you can't take all those trees out, put in big units and have anything that's gonna look nice. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. Next speaker, please. Looks like we have at least 2 more. Welcome.
Hello. You know what I like about Wichita? We moved here 4.5 years ago to be closer to our daughter's family in the here.
Awesome. Can you state your name and your address?
Marsha Hansen, Hansen. And what's your address, Monday? 12217
East Truth Court. TROON.
All right, you can start.
Yeah, I just want to bring up one point that I don't think has been mentioned.
Thank you.
Westlake and the Jackson Heights neighborhood share a lake. Does that make any sense? Back when it was farm property and it flows under central, but we share it. So whatever comes into the Jackson Heights neighborhood runoff is gonna move its way on over to ours. And that's the only thing I wanted to say, other than I'm hoping that before the vote, you will ask how many here are in opposition tonight. Thank you.
Everybody raise your hand.
I'm so surprised.
Thank you, Ms. Hanson. Next speaker, please, if you can state your name and your address. I'm sorry, can you say it again? What is it?
Lockhart. I live at 12221 East Truth Court in Crestway. I'm his better half.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I went to the other meeting and now I'm here at this one. And I don't know, it's kind of whatever, and I'm not saying anything about it, but his stories were all over the map. I mean, there's not a consistency of what he's gonna put there. And tonight, honestly, it was, to me, I took it as a general threat for him to say, if you don't do this, we're gonna do that, so you better do this. How dare he? We have a lot of money in our homes, and we picked that area because of the beauty and the neighborhood. And for him, I took it as a threat. And to put up these condos, these, whatever, for RVs, that it's just gonna be a party house. I asked at the last meeting, okay, well, what if somebody breaks the 9 o'clock rule? Who do we call? Are you gonna be responsible? He goes, well, no, you'll have to call the police out if they come. Well, dadgummit. We live there. It's important to us. And he's sitting back here laughing at every one of us in our comment. And he doesn't care. And so that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lockhart.
Can I just interject here?
Just a second, I'll let the applicant have their couple minutes. Is there any other speakers?
Trisha Hyde, 12406 East Truman Street. I also did not plan to talk tonight. But this is our house, our home, our community. There is wildlife in this area. There are deer that run across the street. And it is a family. It is a residential area. Yes, there's commercial on each end. But this puts a residential property right in the middle of two great housing areas. Homeowners that enjoy each other. We are passionate about this opposition, and is this the best use of that piece of property? We've done everything in our power to help this owner repurpose, replace what he wants to do, and he's unwilling to do. But please, when I look out my street, out my door, I don't need, I go straight out and I'm gonna see this property. I'm the farthest one on Woodridge, just as it goes to through. I will see it every day. When I go out my front door, I can't turn my head and look down the street, I see it directly. Please, listen to the voices here tonight to see if this is the best use of the land.
Thank you, Ms. Hyde. Thank you. Is there another? I thought I saw somebody else stand up. Yes, sir. Welcome. Please state your name and your address.
Yeah, Brett Sjogren, 509 North Woodridge Street. I'm
3 houses in off of Central, right across from this proposed development. Thank you for allowing us to speak our minds. Thank everybody for, coming and talking. I'll make this brief. A lot of this, if not all of it, has probably already been said. I just got here. I was here earlier.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm back. We moved into the Crest Lake area in 2021. Nice area, nice homes, pleasant scenery. We wanted to be just close enough to Wichita and Andover, but not, in the middle of the hustle and bustle of everything. And there's a reason this area was originally zoned residential. There was a home on that site. It was surrounded by residential zone properties. It was noted in the packet in the planning commission meeting in May that all adjacent areas, north, south, east, and west, were all marked residential. Okay. I do realize this was rezoned a few years ago for general office, which I didn't agree with either, but it's still surrounded by homes. It's just not the right place for big storage units. Since there was a home there, I thought that was still a residentially zoned property. I didn't realize it had been changed since I just looked it up. That was a home on a bigger plot of land, which is great. There are other properties that are more suitable for this commercial type environment. That would better suit a large square box-like storage units. Location of the garage condos at Central and Greenwich make more sense. The only residential properties are to the east, to the north is Quick Trip. To the west is Beach, to the right, or to the south is already zoned commercial vacant property. That makes more sense to me. Okay. My biggest concerns, crime, obviously. These are big storage units. That means nice things are in there. I think that brings more crime to our area. They attract criminals to that area. We already have some crime problems. We've had cars getting broken into. We've had people going through our yards at night and packages getting stolen, things like that. I think that's going to increase. Property values, it's been indicated that we think our property values will be affected. That's not good. I want my values to go up. My home's part of my retirement plan. Houses are supposed to increase in value. Appearance, I'm not sure exactly what this is supposed to look like. If it's a big boxy aluminum, type structure. Nobody wants to look at that through their windows or from their front porches. I'd like to see other residential homes, big trees, nature, things like that. And for the property owners at 12431, just right to the south of them, I feel really bad for them. I never thought in my wildest dreams that they would have almost 900 linear feet of their property butted up against storage units. I mean, I looked it up today, 900 linear feet on 2 of their sides. And they have to drive, their driveway is right in between those storage units. I just don't think they ever thought that was gonna happen. I think their property values are gonna get hit the worst, and I feel most bad. I appreciate your time tonight. I'm not sure where all of you live, if you're in this affected area or not, but please put yourself in our shoes. Consider the roughly 145 residential homes in the Jackson Heights, Crest Lake, and surrounding areas. Whenever you're considering the approval place, 13 out of place storage units on the property. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the record, no one on this district advisory board lives in this area, and if they did, they would abstain from the vote. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Any other speakers? Last call. Okay, thank you to the 17 people who spoke. Appreciate your time. I'll now, we now will have Mr. Ken Lee with Garber have your 3 minutes to summarize, and then we're going to bring the discussion to the district advisory board.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to follow up, and when I laugh, it's because I was accused of saying that section gate housing was on the table tonight, and I did not say that. So I don't mind when people disagree with what we're doing, but when people talk about sticking to the facts, let's please stick to facts. I'll just tell you, I talked with Mr. Warren. There's obviously neighborhood opposition to this. Vote this down. It's fine. He doesn't care. He's already resigned himself to the fact that if that was the vote tonight, if the people came out and spoke, he was not opposed to it. So I know that you feel like the duplexes was a threat. It's not. That's what's going to go in. So I just want you to know that that's not a threat. It's allowed by right. He's going to do this on his property. So I know that you felt offended that I was using that as a cudgel on you, but it is what's gonna happen on these pieces of property and put it out, so. You've heard the folks, they said they'd rather see duplexes next door, they feel like this is not the right use for the property.
Sir, I'm sorry, Mr. Poole,
So
Mr. Poole,
we were
I'm
told-
sorry,
you
we're
heard-
gonna use
you heard
decorum.
Clearly that the garage condos is not the appropriate use for the property.
Who,
Well, it doesn't, that's what you heard tonight, so I just wanna let you know that Mr. Marnock is not gonna be offended if you vote with the neighborhood. It's one of those things, they spoke their piece, we appreciate it. And I get it, this is next to your houses and all that, I mean, I get that, and you spoke your mind, and the only final thing I wanna add is. When there's comments about, well, it feels like the meander, you're changing your tunes. So when we hear, we don't like metal buildings, we changed it to where we're gonna have wood siding on the buildings instead of metal, because we've heard that. That's not us just making stuff as we go along, that's reacting to negative comments from the neighbors, we wanted it to fit in better with everything. When we talked about, when you heard the taller building, well, we heard that it needed to be lower, we lowered the building, we were reacting, trying to react positively. To what the neighborhood wanted, and just come on, that's what he's trying to do, so it's not wishy-washy, it's not making stuff up as you go, it's hearing criticism. And trying to work with it, and if it's very clear that you don't want these condos here, and that's fine. But it is one of those things that. Something is gonna happen with this property regardless, but again, he's fine with whatever recommendation you guys want to approve on it. So,
Just for clarification, who are you talking?
Mr. Marnak is the.
Marnak?
Marnak,
Okay.
MARNAC.
Okay, sorry,
So
I couldn't
he's-
understand you, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he's fine, whatever the decision was tonight, he said that either way, if it's approved or disapproved. He's already resigned himself to either eventuality and. You know, obviously the folks have spoken here, so it's one of those things that. Just don't feel any reservations if you vote against it, that's fine. So-
and just a clarifying point, tonight is not the final decision. It approved MAPC. It was approved at MAPC 6-5. This body will make their decision. And then it will go, no matter what, to the Wichita City Council on new business. So depend either way,
I don't know the exact date.
yes.
Yeah.
Because of the 97% protest, though, it's going to city council no matter what.
Yes, it
Yes,
will force a super majority.
yeah, for a super majority.
I was just gonna add, that's the other thing about it is because of the protests, it can't pass by a simple majority, it have to pass by a super majority.
Which is 507.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to make sure tonight's not the final vote.
So I just wanna say that I wasn't laughing at you about your fears, it was, as somebody said, I was saying section housing, and I absolutely did not try to say that at all.
He did not.
I'm sorry, sir, can you have a
He
seat,
did not.
Mr. Poole?
It was his person that he was speaking of, walked into the steward's house and said, we can make a section A. Oh,
Thank
by the
you.
way, we will.
Sir, thank you, Mr. Poole.
Somebody out of state.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna practice decorum just like we do in chambers where everybody's had a chance to speak and then we don't speak out of turn. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it. We're gonna bring the discussion back to the District Advisory Board. Does anybody have any questions for Christina from the District Advisory Board? Points of clarification?
Yes.
Yes. Christina, if we could have you go back to the podium
I
one
love
more
it, how
time.
she smiled like,
I
she was like, yes, it's my turn.
Christina. It appears to me that the major problem here occurred in 2018. When this was zone GO. That's when this possibility started.
In terms of a zone change, that would allow for. Multi-family development. Two-family development, single-family development. Technically warehouse self-service, or no, I think I'm thinking the wrong district, but. When
Right.
commercial uses could be introduced to this area.
If these folks wanted to change the zoning back to residential,
It can now.
how would they do that? Was there an appeal?
Zone change request.
File a zone change request.
It's in my tenure during the planning department of essentially a down zone, but it is a possibility.
The owner would have to file
The owner,
the
yes.
request.
The owner of the property.
Really?
Yes.
Not the adjacent property owners.
So they have no recourse as far as the existing zoning.
Their only recourse is to buy it. And they apparently have attempted to acquire
Okay,
it.
thank you.
For another party to compel you to change the zoning of your property would be a denial of your constitutional
Yeah,
right.
Fourth Amendment. Okay,
And the
so
rights of the neighbors
We-
would be ignored in that process.
we're gonna have a thoughtful conversation about what's in front of us tonight.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
is this an appropriate use of the land?
I have
So-
a question.
Faith, yes.
Okay, so I reread both presentations and I'm looking at I believe the applicant's presentation. And because duplex use is allowed by right in general office, then it can be housing. So I feel like we don't, whether we approve this or not tonight, we're not approving condo garages, correct? If we say yes, it doesn't necessarily mean it's condo garages, or are we say, if we say no, then they'll have to turn in a new request? I just want to get some clarification on what's going to happen with the,
So
because
tonight, Faith, we're voting if whether or not the storage units, condo garages, whatever you want to call it, is an appropriate use of the land, yes or no?
Okay.
If we vote yes, we are saying that we think they can put in the storage units.
Right.
If we vote no, and by the way, this is just a recommendation to the governing body. If we vote no, we are saying that these storage units are not an appropriate use for this piece of land.
Did that make sense, Faith?
Yes, thank you. I wanted to make sure what our vote meant with all the conversation that's happened.
That's a great great clarifying question. Yes, Bruce.
Or a comment specifically on what we're voting on.
Thank you, Bruce.
I've been in this area to visit deliberately twice in the last 4 or 5 weeks. And one thing I noticed is that the applicant has not maintained his sign on the property. And I know there's nobody enforcing that. I just want to bring that out, that I had to look at my maps here to find out exactly what it was. The posts are there, but it was torn down and it's been down for weeks.
So, could I ask the specific date, because the date of the they only have to have the sign up 13 days before the MAPC hearing.
So it would have been 13 days before May 22nd.
Really? I suppose that's law.
State statute.
That sucks.
And I will say that the applicant requested
You told me on that TV.
Mr. Wolf, you can have a seat.
Sorry.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. All right,
I'm more. I got some more.
okay, you have another question? Or
When
comment?
I come to this property from the east, you could call it commercial easily. If I come from the west or the north, it looks like a beautiful little park that shouldn't be changed. And what makes this a difficult decision for us to make a recommendation is that how close another storage unit is right down the street. But I'm inclined, I'm not gonna make a motion yet, but I'm inclined to lean towards that it would not be recommended.
Thank you for your comments, Bruce, appreciate it. Other discussion?
I have a comment.
Okay.
First, it's a difficult decision to come down in favor of or opposed to the request. It can be decided either way. There are excellent, strong, rational arguments for both sides of this. What planners do, what DABs do, what the planning commission does, what the governing body has to do is balance. That's what we have to do at the end of the day. I am prepared to make a motion if there's no other conversation on this panel.
Is anyone on the board wanting to make another comment or ask more questions?
I've got a couple of things. I'm so sorry. I just can't help myself. Someone had mentioned during the discussion about the other storage garage, condo, whatever. And it was interesting because today I received another letter from the planning commission that there is another set that is being built next to the ones that are already at Central and Greenwich. So that will be coming in September. And so I'm thinking about absorption rate and what's going to be happening in that area. I'm all for personal property rights, that it doesn't decrease property values to other homeowners. And I mean, there's so much that's going on, and to be good stewards of property and helping others, tonight has just been very eye-opening for me with the homeowners who have come here and spent their time with us and have talked about all the things that make their home a home and what that does, what this could potentially do to them. That's all I'll say.
Thanks.
Go ahead
for your comments. And again, I just want to reiterate, I cannot make a statement. I can't in any way imply how my vote will be when this comes to us from the bench for state statute. Trying to stay on the front page of the paper. And I also want to echo, and I said it, but I'll state it again for the record, for the 17 folks who came to speak. You were heard. We appreciate your time. Hopefully you learned something new about this process this evening. We actually have 2 district advisory board members who asked to be a part of this board because they were in your situation and then applied to be a part of the board. So that brings me, that brings me some happiness that people come and they get interested and want to learn more. So with that, is there any other discussion from the district advisory board? Faith, last call from Zoom.
Yeah, I would just say that when I look at the golden rules of zoning, I don't want, I want to thank everyone for coming, because to give up your Monday night to come listen to zoning is something we are excited about, but not so much the public. So thank you for coming to give your comment. And when we look at the golden rules of zoning, sometimes we have to make decisions that the neighborhood doesn't like. Sometimes we are blessed and we get to agree with the neighborhood because it's not a good use of property. If I was going to be biased because I love housing so much, I'd happily say no, hoping that the developer was going to build duplexes. But when I read the golden rules, I'm really struggling here, like Stephanie said, because they do have the right to do this. Will it impact the neighborhood? I don't know. Yeah, I'm really torn, but I want the people in the neighborhood to know that this board strives very much to make sure that we are respecting property rights and how other people's property rights affect you. So whatever happens tonight, I just want to say thank you for coming, and please don't be mad at us if it doesn't go your way.
Thank you.
I can ask how many people are opposed.
We did already. Yeah.
But not really, just what I said. But you know what? If you all vote against this, you're not representing any of us.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you.
Big deal.
Thank you for your comments. We will go ahead and I would entertain a motion from a district advisory board member.
I will happily do so, maybe not happily, but I will do it. Before I do, I'm generally in favor of projects like this, and I did come here prepared to support this project. But just barely. Because as I said a moment ago, there are compelling reasons to support it, just as there are compelling reasons to oppose it. I am going to recommend that we deny this application based on golden rules numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to deny and we have a second from Stephanie. We're gonna call the vote. I'll call it just by voice vote, but if it's too close to count, then we'll do individual or a hand vote. We'll have to accommodate for faith. But let's try with a voice vote. All those in favor of denying, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone who's opposed? Passes unanimously, so the application is denied. because the MAPC and the District Advisory Board decision are different, and because it exceeded the 20% threshold of petition, it will go to city council and it will be on new business, and it will have to have a super majority of 5 of 7 votes from city council members. Did I say that all right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, thank you, Christina. You did a great job answering all of our questions. We appreciate it. Last agenda, everyone get home safely, Last agenda item is an adjournment. Are there any other announcements from the District Advisory Board?
I would just like to ask if it's possible, would this body consider getting a presentation from the Citizens Review Board? We've been asked to present at a couple other Citizens Review Boards, or adapt about what the Citizens Review Board does for Wichita. If that's something you guys are interested in, I said I'd be happy to do it because I am on the Citizens Review Board.
Hey, there's a lot of noise in the room, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say yes.
Okay, then I'll get with Teresa about getting on the agenda.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
John gets to make a motion tonight. Is there a second? Second from Aaron. All those in favor of returning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, you can stay. Thank you.
Okay.